How you going, mate?
Good afternoon and welcome to this huge day in Women's Super League action. It's the Clarence Zebras and Olympia Warriors clashing in what looms as a likely title decider. It's the Olympia Warriors sitting clear on top of the table at the moment. A win for them today would pretty much wrap things up. Conversely, a win for the Clarence Zebras would still leave them 2 points behind, but with a game in hand and given the dominance these two teams have had over everyone else in the league, you could very easily see them running out the gauntlet for the rest of the way and not dropping any more points. This is the chance to take points from your title rivals today. A draw probably good enough for Olympia as well. The Clarence Zebras, they've sat back and defended the past 2 times they've met. 2 1-0 results, splitting them 1 apiece. Will we see a similarly cagey affair today, or will things open up on the smaller confines of Warrior Park after the first 2 games were at Wentworth? The stakes could not be higher. This is a massive day in the title race. The Warriors looking to avenge last season's final day defeat. Can they do it? They've been playing some great football. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call this big one is Paul Hunt. And Hunty, the stage is set for a massive day in the Super League.
Absolutely. Huge day here at Warrior Park. The 2 best women's sides in the state going at it for the 3rd time, as you mentioned. And not too long after their previous encounters as well. Feels like they've all just come back to back to back. Not too many games in between. Obviously with that washout game that was played on the Wednesday night. As you mentioned, a win apiece. Low scoring, especially by Women's Super League standards, these games. Both just the 1-0, and obviously last year in the de facto title decider on the last day between the Warriors and the Hobart Zebras, that one was only 2-1 as well. They're usually tight, cagey contests, and I think the smaller pitch at Warrior Park again might just lend to that. It will be interesting to see particularly what Coach Chris Hay does for the Clarence Zebras. They're a pretty solid defensive unit, and this smaller pitch might work to their advantage, but the thing is they really need the win. They need to throw the kitchen sink to get all 3 points. As you mentioned, a draw probably not enough given they drop points up at Ulverston away. That 2-2 draw really putting a little bit of a dent in their title chase, and I think it really is going to be all on the Zebras, despite being away from home, to come out and produce a pretty top performance, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a fascinating chess match, I think. Is it the Zebras who look to open up, or are they content just to sit back and know that it's in Olympia's nature to go at them, to take the game on? They're probably unlikely to change their style, do anything radically different, and do they just look to maybe pick their moments on the break? On a pitch like this, Ali Berry's going to loom as the large threat, can score from anywhere. And if they get the ball to her in the final third, she looms as a likely match winner. I think the Warriors, for me, have played a better team game this year. They've looked a more complete unit. This is a Cleber's outfit filled with match winners who can just produce, in particular, Barry, that 1 or 2 moments in a match that can make all the difference. It's going to be a game of really fine margins, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's a 5-point gap for the Warriors atop the table. They've played 11 games. The Clarence Zebras have played 10, so they've certainly got a chance to move 8 points clear, and that would certainly be enough to all but wrap up the title, I would have thought. There's dual captains going out there for the Clarence Zebras in Canageser and Dixon. Jenna Farrow, the skipper, in net for the Warriors, but we'll just go through the remaining fixtures. Clarence have got South Hobart at KG5, Kingborough at Lightwood, Ulverston at Wentworth, and Kingborough at Wentworth. So, look, it's possible they could drop some points there. They've already dropped some points to Ulverston, but they'll be red-hot favourites in all those games. But they win today, the gap's 2 points, the game in hand, they can jump 1 point clear, basically. Olympia would be 8 points clear, the game in hand would cut the gap to 5, and they've only got Ulverston and Uni at Warrior Park and Kingborough at Lightwood. It would be over in that case, and I think even with a draw today. So it is on the Clarence Zebras to get a result, and quickly race through the lineups before kick-off for the Zebras. Ali Berry, Georgia Bird, Shelley Cook, Zara Dixon, Bronte Gadon, Rachel Gill, Danielle Canageser, Louisa Marmion, Zoe Nichols, Maddie O'Brien, Selena Stevenson. A late scratching is Isabella Ferrier. who is sick. So that's a big blow. Rachel Gill probably the one who's come in there into a fullback role, I would suspect. For the Warriors, Maddie Black, Olivia Bomford, Mia Kane, Maddie Chambers, Bonnie Davies, the competition's leading marksman with 20 goals, Jenna Farrow, Leah Gubb, Hannah Johnson, Sophie Lazinski, Innocent Michael, Caitlin Roberts, and we are off and running, and there is some serious star power on display here today. Two teams loaded with talent, and we'll see how it plays out. The title is on the line, and Lazinski will be crucial at the back today. Arguably the best defender in the competition. Farrow being pressed by Nichols, and this is already an immediate change of approach from the Clarence Zebras from what we saw in the first two. An early chance perhaps for Zoe Nichols getting into space, shut down by Roberts. Coming through was Berry, and here's Gill. So they've opted to press them out of the gates, as you'd expect on the condensed Warrior Park pitch. They just sat back in their own half for the last 180 minutes they've played against this team. This is radically different already, Paul.
Yeah, that is more pressing in the first minute than they have done in the last two games, particularly that high up in the park. We saw the last game at Wentworth. They really didn't bother pressing the Warriors at all till they were at halfway, as Burt's corner goes towards the back post, and rising high there, I think was Dixon. Did Farrow get a touch on that? And it did not, so that'll go straight out of play for a goal kick. But Zebras, well, we did mention, will they sit back and maybe wait for the first hour before building towards the end of the game? But they're going straight at it, and Gill has got another touch in the ball. Seems to be playing very high up the park. Does Gill. That one will lose Marmion, and Kane won't elect to keep that one in. It will be a throw-in, so there was sort of 5 defenders on the team sheet for the Zebras, with Marmion, Gill, Dixon, O'Brien and Stevenson. It would be interesting to see who moved up. We saw Marmion play in centre mid last game, but it appears Gill has just directly replaced where Ferrier would have been, as Bomford tries to keep that one in, but to no avail, and that one sails behind the goal. But very tactical battles between these two sides, and we're seeing plenty of evidence of that already.
Yeah, I like Marmion at fullback. I thought she was outstanding in that first game, doing a job on Maddie Chambers on that occasion. Pushed into midfield in the second meeting of the two teams. It wasn't quite as impactful as the Warriors look to settle it down. Sophie Lazinski will be key. Starts so many of their moves at the back. Plays like a central midfielder. Really is that prototypical ball-playing defender who just loves to charge up, jump into the attack. And she's going to be key to this Warriors side today. Because of the size of the ground, he can turn defence into attack in the blink of an eye. Lazinski crucial to that, especially she can feed a few through balls to those pacey attackers they've got in Davies and Chambers. Davies in particular, up to 20 goals in 11 games this year. Just a phenomenal return. Moved into a central striking role after spending most of the last few years out on the wing, and has just been terrorising centre halves all season.
Certainly has, particularly last week up at Ulverston, where they tried to play the high line and a lot of offside trap up there against Davies. And whilst they were relatively happy with their performance, it didn't quite come off on the score sheet for Ulverston, as Davies scored a few on that one. But now it's Berry. Geezer on the overlap, nearly getting through is Berry, but Black in the centre of the park cutting that one out. Chambers looking for the long ball. Davies is a willing runner, and I think that one's going to hit the sideline first. So interesting. Doesn't look like Zebras are going to opt for that approach here. Seems like their defence is staying in a more traditional format, and it's just if they're attacking sort of 3 to 5, really push up, we might see a bit of gaps in midfield there, and I do think Bomford could be one to capitalise on that if she's given too much time and space in the middle of the park, as Dixon's allowed to carry this one forward. And as far as Lazinski, Gaddon battling away with Bomford, beating 2, and can't quite find Nichols. Lazinski able to go back to the keeper, but as we're seeing here with Gill and Nichols are jogging up to the 18-yard line, which we didn't see much of last time.
Nichols pressuring Lazinski, but customary little change of direction into space, and look to play it out from the back here. Here's long bomber Leah getting involved for the first time, sends it down the line. O'Brien leading back in that race from Kane. And Kane, another one of those pacey attackers that they've got. Some real speed in attack for this Warriors team that might trouble a more experienced Clebra's defence. Here's Maddie O'Brien, a reliable part of that. She knocks it across from the back through Stevenson. Stevenson sends it wide Canagiza forcing it forwards to Ali Berry, looking to get her involved early on. Tough ball this one for Bronte Gaydon to chase down, and Lozinski has that covered. Overcast conditions here at Warrior Park, but not too bad for football at the moment. It's just not quite on the same wavelength with Lozinski and Michael. Knocks that one into touch, and Clarence will advance up the pitch here and try and get something moving. You can see Marmy in the bottom of your screen just really looking to push on from full-back. I thought for a moment that was the most obvious foul throw of all time. It was just giving it back to Stevenson, was Canagiza, and she gets the better of Chambers here. Just Danielle Canagiza. She's into the box, Michael across, and we'll just go safety first and escort that one out of play. Goal kick coming up for Jenna Farrow. Despite all the attacking talent, I think we're both predicting a really low-scoring battle here today. I think it's going to be who can seize that one or two moments within the game, perhaps. I don't think we'll get a shootout.
Yeah, just interesting whenever... Oh, that's nearly turned over there by Annie Michael. It's Gill sort of pressing the other centre-back, but on the far side, Canagiza sticking quite close to Maddie Chambers as the ball through the centre looking for Bomford. Stevenson, safety first clearing that one. Maddie Chambers playing in that left wing back role that she tends to adopt in these particular games, usually pushed a bit further forward in as she's allowed to in games against other Women's Super League sides. And her battle with Canagiza will be a crucial one, especially in this Warriors very settled lineup. Our only real swap and change so far this season's been at right centre back. It's either been Charlotte Chambers or Hannah Johnson who's got the start today, as Chambers to throw that one in. Dixon gets ahead to it. Really Bomford, strong challenge from Berry, and that one's come off the Warriors player. Fall out for a throw in, as whenever a plane or a boat goes past the ground, Walter Pless always getting his camera away from the ground just to capture that particular image there on the far side. And there's Stevenson throwing it in. It's come right off the chest to Canagiza. Lozinski thrown into Bomford. Chambers v Canagiza battle once again, and Chambers rolls the ball through looking for Davies. Post defence from Dixon, only as far as Bomford. Two red shirts around her and drops the lovely step over to get to the byline. Does Bomford, cuts that one back, but Dixon able to clear that one. Not quite the pace on it, but made plenty of space for herself on the side there, did Chambers. So the Warriors turn out towards the other side. Johnson towards Gubb. Roberts battling away with Ganon. Gill getting a toe in and looking to launch the counter. It's Rachel Gill. Zoe Nichols up with her. Canagiza on the far side. Can't quite get to her and will roll out for a Zebra's throat. But they are looking to win the ball up a bit higher up in this game, the Zebras, and we can see, particularly with someone with the defensive nous of Gill, it's always possible as this one might fall to Marmion at the top of the box. Thought she was going to shape to shoot, instead comes off the head of Black and cleared by Gubb. Now O'Brien, ship ball centrally looking for Nichols, who gets ahead to it, but just falling into the arms of Farrow, who counts a shot on target for the Zebras though.
Yeah, shot there from Nichols. Didn't quite get the purchase she was after with the glancing header, but nearly shot across the bows of the Warriors, and just about more than they created in a lot of that second match. But a positive start here for the visiting side. Gill rolling in, looking for Gaydon, but that was broken up well by Caitlin Roberts. Innocent Michael had a fantastic season in the heart of midfield for the Warriors, sliding in with Stevenson. And chip forward hitting the deck was Bonnie Davies there. She got slightly clipped by Dixon. The veteran Shelley Cook, such a reliable presence in the Clarence Zebras net. Rolling that one out. Gill back again to Marmy, and a pretty safe opening from both teams, I'd say. A little bit cautious, but that's to be expected with the stakes this high. No one wants to be making a crucial mistake. We'll see who rolls the dice a little bit more as the game goes on. Of course, Clarence Zebras really need to win this one. A draw, perfectly fine result for Olympia due to the points dropped away to Elveston. Pretty handy goal difference edge too. They have been the more dominant team across the season, the Warriors, but that counts for very little when it comes to today. It'll be 90 minutes, quite possibly, to determine the fate of the Super League title. Michael back to Lazinski. Sophie Lazinski driving the play forward here and charging through midfield, rolling it towards Davies. Just got clipped there by Stevenson stepping in and winning the ball nicely. Strong physical defence. Zebra's outfit have. Get on. Pressured by Bomford. Turns away from trouble, but impacted the pass a little. Trucked back by Ali Berry. Berry, the heartbeat perhaps of this Clarence attack. So crucial to their fortunes. Absolute match winner, as is Olivia Bomford. And she sends this one over the top. Didn't quite get the weight on it, trying to spring Bonnie Davies, who I don't think is going to have acres of space to run into today. They might press them a little bit up forward, but I think they'll keep a defender fairly far back to prevent those little runs off the shoulder she so excels at.
I think the experience of Dixon and O'Brien will just alternate in that centre-back pairing between which one drops off a few yards, particularly when Olympia get the ball around halfway like Roberts has at the moment, as she goes back to Black. Now Lazinski, always comfortable taking the ball forward is Lazinski, and goes the through ball, comes off O'Brien. Happy to see that one into touch. I think whenever the Warriors look to play those through balls, that the Zebras defence will be happy just to clear them into touch. I don't think we'll see too much time and turning. They'll obviously do it when appropriate and not pressured, but I think they'll be more than happy just to concede a few more throw-ins than they normally would here today, as Davies trying to get a touch on the ball. Beaten out by Bronte Gadon. Michael clearing that one into the Zebras bench. Haven't seen too much of Kanagiza in a forward position on the far touchline as of yet, as Stevenson's throw down the line in that direction, but Michael cutting that one out. Berry back to Nichols. Those two are playing a lot closer to each other than we saw in the last matchup between these two sides. That Nichols really isolated up top. Berry having to do a lot more defensive work as Gill, a willing runner, charging down Johnson. Now Roberts. Gill. Pass towards Michael, and they go the through ball. Davies dropping short to receive that one. That one, it goes all the way through to Cook. And still have a bit of a breeze out here at Warrior Park. Nothing like some of the wind advantages we've seen, particularly at Wentworth Park in the last few games there.
Yeah, fairly close proximity to the Gentian, but lacking the sand dunes to quite drive the wind factor we had in the first two clashes. But there is a bit out there today. See how much it favours one end. Might be one of those games you can't judge too early, as Michael wins the throwing. One of those ones where everyone just sticks their hands up and appeals for it. But, Michael appears to have won out.
Lacks the slope of the Gentian as well, Warrior Park.
So Lazinski drops it in looking for Bomford. Picked off though by Bronte Gadon. Chambers in there for the Warriors. Lazinski Gadon somehow snuck through all of them. Her pass broken up though. Falls to Leah Gabb. Gabb through for Bomford. Tried the nutmeg on Kanagiza. She was awake to that. And Stevenson just opting to strike that one out of play under pressure from Mia Kane. Tick towards a quarter of an hour mark here. Nearly cagey opening as expected. The title on the line. Bomford just flicked it up and looked to turn, but there was another defender in support. And they'll clear the area. Seen Bomford score some absolutely brilliant goals this year. Turn on a dime in midfield. She's going to be one to watch today. Here's Johnson with some room at the back. Back to Gubb. Shut down by Marmion. Now Bonnie Davies just drifting out to the right, trying to get involved. She's backtracking, and Zoe Nichols comes in and impacts the contest well. Gill stretching to try and control this. Safety first from Johnson. Should be a cleverest throw for the former Batman villain. Marmion. Gadon. Swings it in, looking for the run of Berry. It was a clever ball, but well cut out by Maddie Black. On the direct approach as Berry just peeled off towards the back post, but Allred Well, Maddie Black goes on. Georgia Burt. Broken up by Gubb. Gubb looks to drive them forward immediately. Trying to pick out that run of Bonnie Davies, but it was a tough ball and straight through to Cook.
It was a good run there from Zoe Nichols as well, just trying to draw out Black and sit between two of the centre backs. Johnson having to go towards Gill and trying to create that space in behind for Berry to run into as that chip ball nearly ends up with Mia Kane. It might be one just didn't quite come off that time, but one just to keep in the memory bank as an option that might come to fruition later as Burt turns away from Bomford. Falls to get on, but now Bomford intercepts. Chambers on the left, Gubb on the right. Instead goes back to Maddie Black. Now Lazinski. Strong challenge there from Stevenson. Really getting to Davies, not allowing it to turn at all. It was Gill. Pass is blocked. Bomford turning away and spying the run of Kane. Now Davies trying to get in behind. It's taken a deflection. Cook not coming forward. It's Bonnie Davies with the shot. Good save from Shelley Cook. At a nice height for the keeper. Turning away and spying the run of Kane. Now Davies trying to get in behind. It's taken a deflection. Markswoman for the season.
Yeah, just staying on a line there, Cook. Probably the right decision as it was always spinning away. Took a wide and just covered the near post nicely there. Did the reliable Cook. Gets the mitts up, keeps that one out. Bomford across to take first corner here from the right. They'll try and swing something in. A delivery normally pretty immaculate. Olivia Bomford. Plenty of assists this season for a side as well as goals. And she comes in on a low one, which O'Brien shuts down. Got in ahead of Davies and slightly wayward clearance in the end. Just it's rather straight out of play. And we come right back at them here through Johnson. He's looking for Bomford. Found his way to it. Bronte Gadon doing some nice defensive work though. Worked it to Berry. Great challenge from Michael. Won it to Davies, but Stevenson won it back in turn. Great defence there from the experienced Selena Stevenson. Here's Lazinski now. Gonna skip past Gadon. Again, good defensive pressure from the central midfielder. Michael shipping it over the top. Sure what's going on with the camera focus here, but that one rolls on out of play.
Yeah, Kane not quite getting the first touch correct on that through ball. But just seeing Nichols dropping all the way back into her own half and then beyond the centre circle of her own half. So Zebras dropping a bit deeper in the last few minutes than they were to start with. And Stevenson's ball clears into touch. As Lazinski will take the throw in. Berry challenging Eddie Michael. Now back through defence and Roberts in the middle. Stolen away from Bronte Gadon. She's had a very good opening 18 minutes. Has Gadon out to Kanagisa. Berry up ahead, so is Nichols and went in that direction. Hand up in the air from the striker. Was eventually getting there. Just not quite in time as Gadon chasing back. O'Brien, time to take the ball into her attacking half. Lofted ball going through the gap. Gill and Nichols in preparation. Gill with the shot towards the back stick. Not too far away. And Nichols and Berry there approaching as well.
Just couldn't quite pick out Berry at the back post. Wasn't far away. Caught between a cross and a shot in the end there from Rachel Gilbert. Only Berry's movement off the ball looking quite dangerous here. A couple of times she slipped free of her marker, but just hasn't quite been able to receive the ball. Farrow's just going to roll it short to Maddie Black, and the Zebras pressing with that front three. Forced the turnover, really. It was a great ball out from the back here, and they'll have to do some defending, but see Nichols, Kanagisa, Gill really looking to press up the pitch. Berry involved as well. Vastly different tactics.
Just a bit nonchalant, that goal kicker, I thought. Very relaxed.
Yeah, just very casual, wasn't it? Just trying to knock it out from the back and really picked out the cleverest play to perfection in the end as Johnson and Bomford. Michael coming through. And Gubb. This is definitely something a little different, and I'm not too sure how often the Warriors would have faced a team employing a high press against them this year. Most teams tend to don't see enough of the ball. They're parked back deep in their own end, hanging on for dear life against this attacking blitzkrieg that they offer. and their main title rivals certainly haven't. So maybe just an ace up the sleeve of Chris Hayes that he's saved for this final showdown. Throw a slightly different look at him. Here's Matty O'Brien, drives it centrally, straight onto the head of Johnson. O'Brien just lobs it back in, back heel will just float into the hands of Jenna Farrow. 20 minutes gone. Not a lot of chances here early on, but an intriguing battle developing as Davies will try and chase after this. Gets goal side of Stevenson. Is she going to be able to track it down in time? She does. Stevenson recovers, but Davies squares it up to Bomford. Bomford looking to shake free of Burt, who's just lent in with the arm a little too much. A free kick in a promising position for Bomford.
This is definitely Bomford range for the shot, isn't it? We'll try to get that towards the roof of the net, especially with that wind. Might just float a little bit on the keeper. And this is definitely Bomford range. Burt just clipped the heel a bit there.
See, she was kicking herself to concede the free kick in that spot. As this is Olympia Bomford territory. It's Bomford! Straight at Cook. Didn't catch it how she would have liked, and a comfortable save in the end for Shelley Cook. I don't want to go giving Olympia Bomford too many looks from that range today.
It's definitely a decent sighting. Got it on target. I think did want a bit more air underneath that one rather than the low one. Shelley Cook, particularly good goalkeeper when the ball's at her feet. Does like a good futsal type leg save. Does Cook. It was quite on the same length there, Marmion and Gill. Maybe they've just swapped positions, even if it is temporarily for the moment, on this left-hand side. After the first 20 minutes as Farrow hits that one right to the feet of Gill. Gubbs pass. Not the best first attempt, but got there second time. Kane, Davies up ahead, but just leaves the ball behind her. Does Davies. Now Stevenson. Berry has Burt in the centre, but goes forward to get on. Kanagiza looking up. Nichols. Keeping possession well here, the Clarence Zebras. Berry now looking for the killer ball towards Nichols and gets inside the 8-man box. Zoe Nichols with the chip over the top and out, but it is a penalty for the foul committed on Nichols. Farrow coming out of it off her line and making contact with the striker. Well here, Zebras with a penalty.
Let's have a look at this one. Nichols goal side of Black. Takes it over the top. Then Farrow coming through. Just cleaning her up in the follow through. Really argue too much there. That's a pretty straightforward decision for Plumeritas to make. And it's going to be Selena Stevenson to step up and throw the title race back in favour of the Clarence Zebras. 22 minutes gone. A huge moment here in the 2020 Super League season. Up steps Stevenson. Jenna Farrow. Can she redeem herself with the save? It's Stevenson. It's denied by Farrow! And class the rebound before Stevenson can get it. And the Warriors dodge a bullet there. Jenna Farrow, well, comes to the rescue in the end. Committed the initial foul, but makes up for it with a great penalty save. And we're still all square.
Still 0-0 here as we have another look at that penalty. Stevenson, Farrow going the right way. It's at a good height for the keeper. It's not quite in the corner either on second look. And just getting to the rebound in time. Surprisingly, no one else for Zebras really following up. As that ball coming in from Dixon. Kanagiza.
The rebound arguably more impressive than the initial save for me. They did really well to recover and reach out and get that before Stevenson could get in there. As you say, it was a pretty savable height, the penalty. She guessed correctly, moved early, but did really well to prevent Stevenson on the follow-up, I think, there.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Get on in the centre of the park, just trying to get the ball out from under her feet. Davies winning the challenge. Kanagiza. That penalty awarded at the end of probably the Zebras' best attacking move of the match, stringing 10 or so passes together prior to it. Hopefully, for their sake, that miss won't leave them two in a negative time frame. Is now Mia Kane up against O'Brien. Letting the ball run wide is Kane and getting it towards the back post. And Stevenson now making a crucial challenge in front of Bomford. And I think they're going to award that as a goal kick. I thought there was a great clearance there from Stevenson. Bomford on the penalty spot. Goes in that direction. Maybe just taking an errant touch on Bomford as it was going through, but I thought that was a corner kick.
Bomford's immediate reaction was just, surely that's a corner. It seemed pretty genuine. Maybe she's a really good actress, but to me that seemed a pretty natural reaction. Seemed a bit shocked that she didn't get it. Great challenge from Lazinski there. Wins it back, but Gadon worked it to Kanagisa. Intensity's just gone up a little in the last few minutes here. Well done, Bonnie Davies tracking back. Worked it to Maddie Chambers. Played the return ball back to Davies. She cuts inside, straight into the path of the imperious Dixon, who shut that down. Here's Kanagisa. Big game player is Danielle Kanagisa. She works this one to Gill. Forward, couldn't find Nichols, was broken up there. And the Warriors looking to turn is Bomford. Quite control it. Will be brought back for a foul though on Georgia Burt. And interesting duel between those two midfield maestros early on. A couple of fouls now conceded by Burt.
Probably when they're this far out from goal, not as damaging as earlier when they're about 20-25 out from Bomford. Probably a little happier to commit the foul there as Bomford now charging into the box. Bomford gets around O'Brien, but that touch just enough for Shelley Cook to come off her line and collect. Former Batman villain getting it to Burt. Chambers tracking back and preventing Kanagisa from getting it. Leah Gubb, this is in her territory for a shot, but elects to look for Davies instead. Those who haven't watched too many games, we decided to double long bomb Leah after some fantastic chipped goals from a fair way out from Leah Gubb so far this season. And Stevenson towards Kanagisa. Chambers keeping pretty close to her task. Lazinski looking for Davies, dropping deeper and deeper as this game goes on is Bonnie Davies. Now Burt looking for Marmion. Bomford turned, allowed to run forward is Bomford. Kane and Davies making their run. Davies in through the centre, but the flag surely up on that occasion. It was kind of her and Kane making roughly the same run there, and Stevenson just making sure she'd stepped up enough with her centre backs. Pretty clear offside there.
Yeah, well and truly offside there, Davies. Just, I think, keeping an eye on Stevenson, and that's why she was behind the other two defenders there, but Stevenson did just get back enough to spring her offside. Not uncommon for Bonnie Davies to be offside, just uses the pace off that last defender so successfully. You're always going to cop a few, play with that style of game, but certainly Clarence need to be very wary of the threat of Bonnie Davies in behind. 20 goals this season in just 11 games. Incredible return. Nice work there from Zoe Nichols. Didn't quite find Marmion who'd stormed forward. Gill now looks to change the point of attack towards Gadzon, but breaking that was Maddie Chambers. Kanagisa. Back to Gadzon. Kanagisa swings it in the Nichols direction, but easily gathered by Jenna Farrow. Well, to launch this one long on the wind. Well done by Dixon getting a foot in. Burt just heaves it forward. No one down there though.
So often with games against the Warriors, once Jenna Farrow picks it up, the entire forward line just runs back or drops 30 metres. Zoe Nichols just standing in the D about 1.5 metres away from her should the short rollout occur. So something different the Warriors potentially aren't used to as much, as that's good closing down from Nichols, but a good ball from Black. Gubb trying to turn away from Gill. Johnson. Kane turning away from Marmion, whose second effort in defence is a good one. Still battling away. O'Brien now with plenty of time to get that back on the right peg. Should she wish, as she hits it to Burt. Stevenson, a little bit of room to move. That's Kanagisa. Can't quite find Berrien. Turns it over to Bomford. Nearly half an hour gone here. Still 0-0 at Warrior Park as Chambers picking up the ball in her own half. Playing it down the line towards Davies, who's got the pace to get around Stevenson. Bonnie Davies charging into the box, has a couple up ahead. That one nearly falling towards Gubb, but well cut out there from Marmion. Only had Kane ahead and was probably expecting another couple of runners from midfield. I think there was Davies.
Yeah, a few crashing the box, I think that's what she was after, but no one had made that bursting run to the top of the area. Here's Annie O'Brien. Sarah Dixon. 30 minutes gone here at Warrior Park. Intriguing arm wrestle thus far. We expected nothing less. A penalty saved by Jenna Farrow. Conceded by Farrow, but well saved too. To Denise Stevenson. Certainly the flashpoint of this first half. Chances have been an absolute premium, really. Very little to speak of. Both defences on top. The team going to be over-committing numbers forward just yet. Clarence who need the win, though. They might reach a point where they do need to throw the old kitchen sink at them. We'll see at what point they decide that is. Here is Ali Berry, just coughed it up rather softly in the interchambers. I think was expecting Kanagisa to make a run. None was forthcoming, and this will be brought back, and a free kick going the way of Clarence.
And right in front of the Clarence bench. But doesn't appear, oh, there we go, someone is going to eventually come over and take the free kick, or the throw in I should say. Marmion just swap sides with Selena Stevenson. Still a different position of the match there for Marmion. Very versatile player. As the chip ball looking for Davies. Not quite on the same wavelength. As Shirley Cook rolls it out to Marmion. Now at right back. Pass forward, just thumped back into touch by Innie Michael. Berry's pass. Not the best return ball for Marmion. After that burst of 5 minutes after that penalty save, intensity slightly dropping here at Warrior Park. As again, Bomford doing exactly what Berry did moments earlier. Forward to Kanagisa. Every time she's had the ball this afternoon, Kanagisa always had at least one, sometimes two players around up. Now they'll go all the way back to Maddie Black and try and switch it out to the other side. Gubb. Ball towards Bomford. Now Davies just about getting in behind the defence, battling with Dixon. Slide challenge. Davies back to her feet, cuts it back to the top of the box, but Burt getting in front of Bomford. Davies now trying her luck on this right-hand side to get in behind the Zebras' defence.
Really well defended there from Zara Dixon. Stayed stride for stride with the dangerous Davies. An easy task. Charged into the box, just cut down the angle. Did enough. Just backed her without fouling. Certainly invited danger though. No appeals from the Warriors for a spot kick. It's well defended Dixon in the end, as Chambers has done plenty of defensive work early in this one. Working back again here. The pass was errant though, straight to Gadon. Now Gill, offside flag clearly going to be raised on Zoe Nichols, about 2 yards beyond the line there.
Oh, and pretty easy for the linesman to call. Yes. Like not being given a huge amount of time on the ball, but that's a nice chip pass to Gubb, just eluding the first line of the press, and now Davies finally getting in behind the box. It's Bonnie Davies! Rifles it into the back of the net, and the Golden Boot leader in the WSL puts the Warriors 1-0 ahead.
Oh, she's been the player of the season, and fitting that Bonnie Davies strikes first in this big game, and look what it means to them. They know how huge this moment is. That could be a title winner. Just route one over the top, and I think just takes Cook by surprise. Wasn't expecting the early shot. Davies catches her out, finds the far corner. It's a perfect finish for goal number 21. And look what it means to them. They know how huge that is. The Zebras now must score twice. They are in the driver's seat right now, the Warriors.
Certainly are, and it was not the usual possession-based football we're used to seeing. Like to Gubb lobbing it forward, and Davies finding that space between the defence, moving out towards the right-hand side. It's come to fruition. Dixon and O'Brien maybe just caught a little square. And again, Gubb, lovely bit of skill. Kane with no real options ahead, but scoots around Stevenson. Another ball in the Davies direction, but that one will fall to Cook. It really is an uphill battle now for the Zebras. You really think they need 2 goals in this one. A draw not really good enough for them.
Hard to see the Warriors dropping points to anyone that isn't the Clebbers. Ulverston, on their day, can be tough, but they've been less effective in their trips south than they have been at home. And at Warrior Park, you'd back the Warriors. They've beaten them a couple of times there already this year, once in the Cup. I think they'd do that one fairly comfortably, and just not sure. South Hobart been a plucky side, but there has been quite the gap to the top 2 this season. There's certainly no way that Clarence will be expecting Olympia to drop points from here. That's what made this fixture so important and fitting that Bonnie Davies is the one to get the scoring started. She has had an incredible season, but let's not forget the Warriors took the lead on the final day last year as well. So, far from job done. And the Clarence Zebras will know that they can rally back. They've still got plenty of time. If you're going to concede in the first half, it's probably the time to do it. It was Halle Berry who lit the second half up after the Warriors were on their way last year. They might strike back immediately here as Zoe Nichols tries to get in, but as ever, very nicely defended from Sophie Lazinski. Kanagisa with a quick throw to Gaydon, back to Kanagisa, wants to pump the early cross in, swings it in, headed back by Black, lurking is Berry, and Lazinski just heaves it on out of there. Kanagisa nods it forward, but it's going to run out of room. That'll be a goal kick, 36 plus change going in the first half.
Just could have let that one run out for a throw in there. Kanagisa would have gone the Zebras' way. Farrow looking for a suitable option from this goal kick. And the Clarence Zebras go back before half time. You can see them pushing it a little bit further forward following that goal. Was Michael now with the through ball looking for Davies. O'Brien back on this occasion. No real panic on the Zebras bench though. It's Burt towards Gaydon. Back to Georgia Burt. Again, Black striding forward. I'm going to keep possession for her side. Burt nipping at her heels. Lazinski, Berry does well to cut that one out. It really was a goal from just about nothing. There's one's made forward to Chambers, really the furthest forward we've seen it so far this afternoon, and only manages to concede the goal kick. Zebras taking most of their goal kicks short so far this afternoon. Usually one of the teams we see get a bit more distance on their goal kicks. It's Gill. Now up forward towards Nichols, still managing to win the ball despite banging it back. Oh, that's a loose back pass. Berry charging in on Farrow. They're not too far away. Kanagisa up against Chambers. And Matty Chambers doing some great defensive work there, but Farrow just got there in time.
Oh, Robert selling it down the river there. And great alertness from Jenna Farrow to burst off a line and just get in ahead of Berry. That could have been disastrous there. And a great challenge. And now back the other way, Bomford finds Annie Michael. Bounce into the path of Burt though. Gill goes on, surrounded by blue shirts, works it back out to Rachel Gill, who goes around the outside of Johnson. Her pass broken up by Maddie Black though. She can find Gubb. They've been a little sloppy out from the back at times today here, the Warriors. Here's Stevenson warming up in an advanced spot, but just rather broadcast that one to Annie Michael. Stretching, couldn't quite control it. Zoe Nichols was impacted there by Bomford. Roberts turns into space as Nichols loses her footing. Chambers springs it down the line for the pace of Bonnie Davies once more. Bonnie Davies looking to storm in behind. Has a look at Marmy and says, I'll take you on. It's Bonnie Davies driving, but couldn't quite get the requisite power on this occasion. A comfortable collect from Cook, but the star striker of the league is starting to flex her muscles and look a real threat in this one, Paul.
You can certainly see why she's Probably even gone up another level so far this year has Bonnie Davies, as that ball through is cleared by Johnson. Just seems to have gone up another level. We saw her as a winger, an assist maker last year, now really adding some firepower up front for the Warriors. As O'Brien back to Stevenson. Out towards Canagisa. Marmion bombing on up against Chambers, who concedes the throw in. Marmion back to Berry. Just keeping it in their attacking half as Nichols holds the ball up well. Gadon, Berry after the run. Gadon in the end has a shot. Maybe the pass might have been the better option there. As Farrow comfortably collects, but again, Zebras keeping 3 players up on the 3 Warriors centre backs. Free kick has been given by referee Stratos Plomaritis. Used to seeing in some pretty big NPL and WSL Jet Cup final games out here in the big Women's Super League game. But the Zebras keep possession, 4 minutes and a little bit of change till half time. Dixon striding forward really for the first time, but just plays the ball straight to the feet of Michael Kane. Davies making a great run. Oh, she's onside here, Bonnie Davies. Can she make it too? It's Davies for the Warriors. Shelley Cook. What a save.
That is huge from Cook. She comes up with a crucial save. Dixon with the turnover, and looked like she was about to be punished as Davies just saunters in behind. Delays the shot this time. Hit it pretty well, and Cook with a world-class piece of goalkeeping bails her side out and maybe keeps their title hopes alive. That could be a huge moment looking back on it. Although they're going to need to find their offensive feet soon because it's Olympia looking the better as this game wears on. Bomford with the corner. Cook comes out, just slaps it down for Stevenson, who didn't favour a left. In the end, just decides to stroke it straight out of play. That would have been a hammer blow on the eve of half-time from Davies. Shelley Cook coming up with one of the saves of the season there.
Exactly what I was going to say. I haven't watched every minute of every game, and that's the best save in Women's Super League I've seen this season, by far.
Have another look at Davies. Delays the shot this time, carries it a bit further. And Cook comes up with the goods. Massive stop. Here's John Kane, works it back for Roberts. Turns it inside for Bomford, skipping in the box. Slightly heavy touch though. And Shelley Cook will gather that one. Right now, I think the Clarence Zebras could use the halftime whistle.
Yeah, I reckon they'll be happy to go in at 1-0 now. Warriors just managing to find a few little seams and creases in that Zebras defence. And I think Zebras will be happy for the Warriors maybe just to keep possession in their own defensive third, but not on this occasion as the ball forward is cleared by Dixon. Roberts. Touch falls to Nichols. Now Berry. Gill continuing her run. Berry wanted the outside towards Canagisa. Not happy with herself for that one as Gubb looks up. Chambers on the far side has Kane in short and goes in that direction. Deflected pass does fall to Bonnie Davies, trying to get the spin of the ball to her advantage. Wanting a free kick, not given.
Was that inside the area is the second question too.
Maybe that, I didn't think it was an obvious push, but maybe could have been something in that one. Certainly worth, Davies thought it was worth the appeal. It's Marmion. Back to Dixon. Now to stride forward again. Canagisa gets there first. Gadon. Battle with Bomford today has been one of the matchups so far as Berry trying to squeeze her way through the Warriors' defence. Eventually cleared by Johnson. Stevenson getting back on that right peg. Burt. Well intercepted there from Bomford. Davies has only really got Kane for support, but does manage to find her strike partner. Kane going the return ball. Dixon clearing that one out for a corner. Warriors with one last chance to double their advantage prior to halftime.
worrying signs for Clarence in that now they're pushing up the field a little bit more. The space in behind is looking particularly welcoming for Bonnie Davies. We didn't see a lot of her in the first 20-25 minutes, but since that first goal, she's now starting to find these little pockets of space to run into, and they've got to force the running. They've got to score 2 goals, so those gaps, you'd imagine, will only get wider as the game wears on. Bomford, poor delivery from her on this occasion. Davies tracks it down. In the end, decides to give the throw in rather than the goal kick.
Getting a touch on it though, and just preventing it nicely rolling up against the fence for Kanagaisa to take it quickly though. So could be game smarts there.
Love it.
She was probably trying to keep it in play as well, but it's ended up to their advantage, and there won't be any stoppage time in this one. So it is half time at Warrior Park. It's the home side, Olympia FC Warriors. 1-0 to the good over the Clarence Zebras. Bonnie Davies, a fantastic goal, putting her side in front, and it really is all uphill for the Zebras.
They're in the driver's seat now, the Olympia Warriors. They came in with the edge in the title race. They've only added to that with this first half performance. The tail of the tape shows Bonnie Davies getting in behind. She scored one shortly after this. Shelley Cook makes a save there, maybe even bigger save late in the half. Could be 2-0. Could also have very easily been 1-0 to the Clarence Zebras. Jenna Farrow saving Stevenson's spot kick. And a big moment in the game that could well prove to be, because they were punished soon after by Davies. But a cracking first half here. It's been fairly cagey early on, but really opened up as the half wore on. There is the penalty that Farrow conceded, just clattering in to Zoe Nichols. Fairly straightforward decision, but redemption from Farrow. Good piece of keeping here. And that proved to be a big turning point, Paul.
Yeah, it certainly did. It was a pretty tight, cagey affair prior to that penalty. And after that save, really opened up, which I think will suit the Warriors if it stays that way into the second half. And here is the goal that has put the Warriors up ahead, maybe just catching the keeper by surprise. Bonnie Davies hitting it first time on the half volley, putting her side in front. It is the only goal of what has been a tight and pulsating contest. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for what should be an enthralling second half. defending that.
We are back for the second half at Warrior Park, and a big response is needed from the, well, Asterix defending champions. At least a vast amount of players who won the league last year, albeit at Hobart Zebras, not Clarence Zebras. And the side that they felled on the final day last year, the Warriors, look determined not to repeat that here. They have been fantastic through the first 45 minutes. And they're 45 minutes away from putting one hand on the Super League trophy. They could open up an 8-point gap atop the table. And they're well on their way thanks to Bonnie Davies and her first half goal. Nearly doubled it, but for some great Shelley Cook keeping. But it's on the Clarence Zebras now. They've got to make all the running in this second half. A draw's not good enough. They need 2 goals. They haven't looked particularly likely from open play. No, they did win a penalty, which was saved by Jenna Farrow. But it's going to need a big reversal in fortunes from the first half. Really, I think they've played 5 halves against each other now. Olympia have been the better side in all 5. They have really the better team in their head-to-heads. Clarence Zebras need a big half of football here to salvage their season and salvage their title hopes. This one will be out for a throw-in in the final third. Can they turn things around, Paul?
It'll just be interesting to see, just watching Steventon take the throw in, really trying to see if pushing the fullbacks up a bit might be a strategy as well, although that will leave space in behind for Chambers, who we can see going up against Steventon, but they may have to put some bodies forward, take some risks as this game goes on. Doesn't look like either side has made a change. Not too many attacking players on the bench for the Zebras here this afternoon, or at least natural attackers. Melissa Bowden, Taylor Rand, and Sam Richardson. There's too much attacking options there as Gadon tries to get that one through to the far side to Marmion. Gill up against Kane, who's trying to keep the ball and ends up turning around, ends up on the deck, and Clarence Zebras win the free kick. So it's going to have to come to Zebras from the players out on the pitch. Yeezer back to Burt. That one blocked by Bomford, who picks the ball up and gets a head up and nearly gets it through to Kane. Good interception there from Gill. Nichols picking the ball up deep. Intercepted by Johnson. It does look like the Zebras are continuing with a pretty high press to start this second half, much like how they started the first.
They dropped off a little as the half wore on, didn't really sustain it, but they're going to need to pull it out here early. They need to strike fast, get themselves back into it. Really feel that if they fall into a 2-goal hole, that could well be curtains. Hard to see them getting back from there. Early goal. Maybe those demons might just come back to haunt the Warriors. See whether it's a motivating factor or whether it's a weight on their shoulders. So they were leading in that clash last year before some late heroics from Ali Berry. Here's Kane trying to shield the ball from 2 players. Eventually it'll be a Clober's throw-in.
Yeah, strategic of the Zebras to get a couple of fans along that side of the ground there, as the last ball that went out into touch took a fair while to get back. It may come into play later on as that one's blocked off the head of a Zebras player and out for a throw-in. Warrior Park. Olympia's using all of the home ground advantage possible. There's Johnson. He has the 2 to aim for, one of whom is Bomford. Nichols getting in front and chipping that one forward towards Berry. Charges that one down to Ali Berry. Decides to have the shot, and Berry puts it over the top. Just real sight up for the Zebras striker. Just went back on that one a tad. Good opening signs in this second half for Clarence Zebras.
Well, last year in that Warriors and Hobart Zebras game, it was a dominant first 45 from Olympia. Then Bomford put them at 1-up with a free kick goal in the second half, but it was a late shot. Ali Berry and, of course, the super sub, Jesse Williams, getting involved. Here's Ali Berry now trying to inspire her side, but just drew a crowd and Johnson and Michael conspire to take it away from her. Jesse Williams to just insert into this one and save their bacon this year. It's going to be someone else who needs to step up. They've got the players out there with the potential to do it.
No more mad dashes across the Tasman Bridge, unlike the last round last season. Great theatre in that title decider.
Jesse Williams watch.
There's Stevenson. Chips that one forward, cleared by Black. Nichols battling away with Roberts, but Michael coming across as the second defender. On, trying to get it towards Kanagisa, stealing it off the toe of Chambers to start with is Kanagisa, running towards the byline and running out of real estate eventually. We didn't see too much of Kanagisa in an attacking sense in that first half, maybe just pushing a bit further forward, trying to put Chambers on the back foot and apply some pressure down the wing. It's Johnson out towards Gup. Now Roberts. Plenty of space in the midfield of the park should the Warriors look to use that space, and they do now through Bomford. Davies on one side, Kane on the other. Bomford going all herself nearly, trying to slide it through to Davies. Dixon reading the play well.
Yeah, gambled did Dixon and paid off nicely. Decided to leave Bonnie Davies, and well, if we just sit off here, Bomford has got form from shooting outside the box. Had to step in, opened up the avenue for the pass, but just couldn't quite pick out Bonnie Davies there, Bomford. Georgia Burt now chipping one forward, straight to the path of Lazinski. Sends it back from whence it came. Burt. Gill back to Burt. Go back to Matty O'Brien. Seems like there's been a bit of a shift about with Rachel Gill in at left back at the moment. They've tweaked things a little here. Here's Kanagisa. Sends a beautiful ball over the top, running onto its mummy, and I would have thought Berry might have been offside. I suppose they've said she's interfered with the play, but certainly didn't touch it. Marmion definitely wasn't offside.
No, that one's a little bit of a head scratcher. I thought in that situation, particularly the cross coming, as long as the goalkeeper's not directly impeded and the player doesn't touch the ball, it's kind of play on. I'd be very surprised if it was Marmion who's offside. He's definitely not offside.
I don't think Berry's done anything to impact the play there.
Free kick given towards the Warriors. I don't think it was enough to impact the play, and it's not like it's a cross that's happened at the 6-yard box where maybe the keepers had to attack the player in front and not go to the back. Very interesting one there is Kanagisa towards Berry. Getting a bit more on the ball in this second half is Ali Berry. Cleared upfield enough. Clarence players back as Dixon. Run forward again. Pass being intercepted by Michael and trying to turn Dixon around, but O'Brien comes to the rescue on that occasion. First touch of the half for Shelley Cook. Dixon again. Now Burt. All about switching the play. Instead goes centrally, and it goes out towards Gill eventually. Kane for company. Just causing enough pressure to result in a loose pass. Gill gets another go and hits it towards Berry. Nichols in close proximity, and she leaves that one short. Michael through to Davies. 1-2. Just treads on the ball does Michael and allows Monty get on to come back and steal that one away. And Michael just a little bit too much in the back there on the Zebras midfielder, who I've been mightily impressed with so far this afternoon in Bronte Gaddon.
Yeah, she's been very tiny on the ball. She's been loose in possession, a few of the Zebras midfielders at time, and not Bronte Gaddon. She's tried to open things up, but it remains 1-0 in favour of the Warriors. And Zara Dixon now stepping forward, sending it over the top for Kanagisa to have a run at. It's too far out in front of her. Tough to break down here in the second half, the Warriors. They'll need to do it twice. The Clarence Zebras a draw. It's pretty much good enough for Olympia. Keep them 5 points clear on top. Clarence just the one game in hand. I mean, will need to lose one of their final 3 games. Here the wind really starting to pick up here at Warrior Park and favouring the Clarence Zebras. In the end they're attacking, so perhaps a little boost for them. Well, at times the wind can almost be a hindrance on this ground. It gets that extra yard or 2 of distance and then it hits the surface, suddenly it's through to the goalkeeper. So tough for the Warriors to play into, but not necessarily doing a heap of favours. Well, the Clarence Zebras, Gill wins the header down. Nicely done by Marmion. Quite find Berry with a pass though. Kanagiza inserting herself. Michael rising high and wins the header. Maddie Chambers will just nod it into space and give chase. Battling away with Bronte Gardon, who did pretty well to win it back. Gets it to Kanagiza. Now Dixon. Moving forward Zara Dixon. Slides it across to Rachel Gill. Marmion can get in behind Leah Gubb. Normally a more defensive role today. Right fullback. Here's Bird. Centering ball was intercepted by Ian Michael. There's a mountain of that sort of stuff. Ali Berry. So often the game breaker and the match winner. Her side need a big second half from her here today. So to get back in the title race. Bomford chips it over the top, looking for the run of Kane, but always in control at the back. One of the Clippers.
It's Cook electing to use that wind that's at her back and bomb that one forward, taking a bounce past Johnson. Berry trying to control it in the end, knocking it high up in the air, and Johnson with enough time to come back and recover. Safety first and putting that one out for a throw, which Gill will take. On the head of Black. Marmion lobbing that one back in, and comfortable chest mark there for Jenna Farrer. Trying to size up her options. One holding up in the wind and nearly finding Chambers. Kanagiza not quite keeping that one in play. Here's DK. Warriors get their defence to push up with Lazinski, the left-sided centre-back, to take the throw. Nearly giving an invitation for Gadon to step in. Just knocks it out for a throw. Bomford trying to get through the Zebras midfield. Now Burt, Berry peeling off. Nichols on one side. Now Marmion striding forward. Takes a heavy touch out in front of her. Black coming out, but so is Farrow. And again, maybe that wind just causing that one to roll a bit further than Marmion was expecting.
Yeah, took the big touch. Don't often have that much room to manoeuvre in. Here's Sophie Lazinski. Ice cold as ever at the backs. Cool and composed on the ball. Oh, Chambers just skips around Kanagiza. Lovely little skill move there. Her pass was broken up by Dixon. Lazinski wins it off Zoe Nichols. Then made it to Chambers. Michael. Roberts sends it forward. Davies puts it back down for Gubb. Back to Roberts. Nice build up this from the Warriors, but that one intercepted by Dixon as they pulled the trigger and looked it forward there to Mia Kane, who's hustling out after this one and just pressures Shelley Cook, and well, it did enough to impact the kick there, and it'll be Warriors throw. So well done, Mia Kane. Working hard as the striker there, hustling and harrying and closing down. The ball work so important for a striker these days. Here's Innie Michael, just gliding through midfield, ran straight into Stevenson. Nichols is up, but a whole lot in support, and just blue shirts back everywhere, and I think that's the problem they're going to face here. Olympia don't need to push on. They can keep 4 or 5 back for the rest of this game. It's going to be on. Zebras find a way to combat that.
Nichols picked up the ball and had 6 blue shirts around her, and only Berry in support, maybe just switching that one back to the midfield and allowing some of her teammates to push on. And Stevenson goes to Kanagiza. Stevenson now looking for the through ball towards Berry, and just a little bit too much on that one. Interesting, Farrow hasn't really had every time she's picked the ball up has gone long so far in the first 15 minutes of this half. That one will be brought back for the foul. Zebras. Taking this one short through Burt. Every blue shirt behind the pole here. Mia Kane the furthest forward, only just getting into their attacking half on that particular press. There's Kanageza. Get on. Ball nearly falling towards Nichols, but again, just enough blue shirts there as a bit of skill from Johnson. Now Bomford, plenty of space to run into in the middle of Warrior Park, looking to get it towards Davies. Bonnie Davies trying to get it on the right pick, gets it towards Kane, and the flag is up. Just straying offside there. There's Mia Kane. And again, on the counter-attack with Bomford with that much space to run into, I think that's going to be a danger for the Zebras in this last half hour.
Yeah, absolutely. They can find a second goal that may well be the knockout blow or the title-winning goal. Though, of course, both the previous meetings between the two sides ended 1-0. So we could have a hat-trick or singular goal victories. Olympia certainly aren't going to need to throw bodies forward. They'll just try and use Davies' pace in behind along with Mia Kane when inevitably the Zebras need to start pushing bodies forward. Try and find something in their final third. We've gone past an hour here in this quasi de facto title decider, really. It's assuming results will go the way we expect them in the closing weeks of the season. We got good reason to think they might, as Kanageza looking on Lazinski. Last touch of Kanageza there, though. They're dealing with what's being thrown at them pretty comfortably at the moment, Olympia. Lazinski and Black looking largely untroubled. Hannah Johnson with some nice work a couple of minutes ago in the middle of defence. They're proving hard to break down. Now, they just need to throw something a little different at them. Sent forward, Stevenson stepping up. Georgia Bird chasing after Bomford, who just spreads it out wide for Leah Gubb. That's an intelligent ball. Gubb looking for Roberts. Pressured by Gadzon. Johnson and Black, Berry pressing up, and they work the turnover here. Zoe Nichols just coughs it up too easily, though. Straight back to Winnie Michael. It's not quite looking as sharp as we've seen them previously. The Clarence Zebras, maybe the pressure starting to get to them a little.
Warriors really sitting all of their midfielders back. They do like to play that 3/5 at the back with the two wing backs, but now Roberts and Michael sitting really deep, and Bomford the only really one pushing forward as Dixon clears that one. Streamers there loitering on the left hand side, but really just keeping Davies and Kane up top are the Zebras, pushing everyone back, and as we're seeing, not necessarily in the greatest hurry to take any of these throw-ins, which Johnson will take. Davies not quite on the same wavelength as Bomford. It was about this time last season that the Hobart Zebras drew level against the Warriors. You'd think they're going to need at least one of those 2 goals soon. As Cook goes to O'Brien. Allowing both her and Dixon plenty of time to take the ball forward and causing turnovers as Michael now striding forward. Innie Michael on the burst, trying to get around the last defender. She does, Innie Michael, and then blazes it over the top. It's great in an attacking sense, is Innie Michael. We don't always see it, but we saw a glimpse there, and just not quite the final finish.
Yeah, when she flicks the switch, she's pretty dangerous. Just tried to go between the legs of Dixon. In the end, it set up pretty well for her. Just got under the shot a little bit. Stevenson throwing herself in the shooting lane there, might have put her off a little. Didn't quite capitalise. The ball at the right end of the pitch, as far as Olympia are concerned, it stays down here. And we're laughing. It's the Clarence Zebras who need to find a spark. They need 2 goals. They've got 26 minutes left in regulation. Kanageza just chips it over the top. But no one's there. They're looking a little disjointed in attack right now, the Clarence Zebras. Simply game, I thought Olympia have looked the more unified and sharper team this season. I think that's playing out once again. They've been the better team this year, to be frank, Olympia. They wouldn't want to throw this one away. But they've got to finish the job, and There's some dangerous players about here for the Clarence Zebras, and one of them is Zoe Nichols. Cuts back inside. Great chance for Nichols, but just gets boxed out. Falls to Berry at the top of the box. Berry on the left, driving it and saved by Farrow. And the best opportunity of the game, really, since the spot kick, goes begging for the Cleberers.
Warriors getting all players back there. It was Maddie Chambers with the crucial interception once Nichols tried to turn onto the left peg. And she now bodies up against the defence. Zebras finally getting enough bodies forward. There's Kanagisa now trying to lay one through the middle. O'Brien against Kane. Can't afford to push too many forward. The Zebras, particularly with Davies and Kane up there, but get on and Burt starting to see a bit more of the ball as Lazinski clears that one into touch. Thought from that goal kick it was a pretty good idea of the Zebras with Burt dropping back to pick the ball up as we see Nichols. A replay of that just jicky on the left and allowed enough time for Chambers to get back as Kanagisa out. Can't get a teammate Roberts. Not quite working on that occasion. Oh, Berry's back heel through the legs wasn't too bad. Now Stevenson. Warriors now dropping deeper and deeper. Kanagisa. Deflected cross, only falling to Roberts. Get on, back to Marmion. Oh, Davies knocking that one around O'Brien and showing off her wheels. Kane waiting in the box. It's Davies on the counter attack, getting the cross in towards Kane, just missing her strike partner. And that is how dangerous the Warriors are on the break.
Trademark pace from Davies burning off down the sides. Zara Dixon just charged straight back to the middle of the penalty area. And in the end, very nearly picking out Kane. Wasn't far off, just running perfectly onto that one. With a glorious chance, but quite to be. Remains 1-0. Johnson. Gub. Gub with some room here, and she'll send it in the Davies direction. Quite pick her out. Shelley Cook gets it moving quickly as she knows they must. Sends it long in the Nichols direction. Black brought it down. Kanagisa deflected off at Chambers to Winnie Michael. Michael switches it up for Gub. Allowed her run off the right wing here is Leah Gub. She just drops it off to Bonnie Davies, who's peeled off into space. Bonnie Davies looking to go through them all. The defence wins the ball. The deck, but no danger of a spot kick there. As O'Brien took it away from it. Halfway through the second half. Time starting to become an enemy here of the Clarence Zebras. Challenge was made there, but need to find something in an offensive sense, and that won't do it. Get on, skews that one off the shin, straight to Maddie Chambers. This has invited a little danger. Chambers swings it in, away by O'Brien. Clearing away for the Zebras.
Starting to see the gaps between the two defences widen and widen as this second half goes on. It was pretty compact there, particularly at the start of the first half and the start of this half. But really some space to manoeuvre for both sides here as the Warriors look to put this game to bed. Kane going towards Chambers. Stevenson's cleared that one out of play. Zinski trying to get it towards Kane. Chambers. Lazinski tells Winnie Michael to get out of the way. I'm keeping this one. Are we happy just to get the ball around the back? Will the Warriors, although Black's pass going straight to Bron to get on. Now Kanagisa, can she use a pace? Elects to pass first time. Nearly stealing it again was DK. So that one's going to be brought back by the referee. Going all the way back for Kanagisa, just running into the Warriors' defence there. Now Michael. Lovely crossfield ball towards long bomb Leo. We haven't seen too much of so far in this half. O'Brien thumping that one clear. Bomford picking the ball up in the centre of the park. Back out towards Gubb. Getting her head up and crossing that one centrally. Falls to the feet of Maddie Chambers, trying to turn around Stevenson. Now Nichols, with her head up, looking for a teammate. It's Canagiza running onto it, but Farrow outside of her box. Elected just to clear that one first time rather than let the wind pick it up and roll back into her 18-yard area. Going safety first.
Last user side at KG5, that might have worked with a bit more room to work in. Not here at the shoebox of Warrior Park. Nichols trying to find Canagiza, but it'll be Warriors throwing inside the final 20. Time starting to run out for the Clarence Zebras. Olympia, they can taste it. A win today practically guarantees it. A draw, sort of about 90%, 95%, but a win, and that will be all she wrote in the title race. An 8-point gap would be surely insurmountable. Unthinkable that the Warriors would drop those points given the season they've had. As Chambers is just buffeted off the ball there by Stevenson, appealing to the referee. So just get up and get on with it. Canagiza heads it down. Lazinski's clearance straight to Stevenson, starting to bob up in advanced areas. As Nichols, she has stayed on side, but it's a pocket pick by Maddie Black. Defended it really well and then got fouled afterwards. So have a look at Chambers and Stevenson off the ball here. Not a whole lot in that, I don't think.
It's more one of those ones where you almost get your shoelaces caught in someone else's stud there and end up both on the deck, as we will see the first substitution of the game being made by the Warriors. As the ball's on the far side now, they can go off on the near touchline.
So can the Clarence Zebras go to their bench? Well, they've got 3 on there. Bowden, Rand, Richardson. Richardson got a bit of pace out wide. I'd be inclined to bring Alyssa Bowden on, to be honest. I think she can pick a pass. She could maybe unlock this defence, which is looking pretty solid at the moment. But I just think they've got to throw something a little different at them right now.
Yeah, or just maybe the height of Taylor Rand up top as well, potentially.
Zara Dixon at centre forward.
Yep, even something like that as well. I think they do have to mix it up. The attack, it's just looking a little... they sort of know what's going to happen here, the Warriors, although Berry now trying to create something. Again, not quite on the same wavelength with their teammates. I just think maybe just trying something different here from the Clarence Zebras.
They need Berry to take a defender on a little more. Just been trying to pick the passes and play those through balls, the combinations. I think it's time for just a bit of individual brilliance maybe to get them back into this one. If you can drive past a defender or two, unlock this defence, but easier said than done. She's had 2 on her. Most times she's looked to have her own to the box. As our roving reporter at the ground, Molly Appleton, suggests maybe a wild card in the offing from Chris Hayes sub-wise coming up soon. See what that could mean. Here's Maddie Chambers. Would Olympia land the knockout blow here? It's Chambers through a sea of red shirts. She keeps on going. Worked it to Winnie Michael. Michael driving it, and Cook makes a good save. Danger not cleared. Eventually it will be out of there from Burt. Straight to Roberts, but now a chance on the counter-attack. Will it open up for Bronte Gadon? She couldn't find the run of Nichols. That's superbly defended from Maddie Black. Just held her up. Did it nicely when the break was on. Chambers tracking back. Canagiza will try and reel this one in. She gives an earnest chase. Just run out of room in the end. It'll be a goal kick as we have a look at Shelley Cook doing some more good work at the other end of the park.
I think Winnie Michael just spotting that near post with a bit of a gap there as everyone's going towards that near post, and I tell you what, that is a pretty wild card substitution that's about to happen.
Oh, Shelley Cook's going up top. Bowden's coming on, but into net. It is Shelley Cook as a striker. Used to play as a striker. Still does on the futsal pitch. Absolutely yes. Belted one past me recently. So clearly at the top of the game is Shelley Cook. Well, that is the wild card. The goalkeeper to strike a move. I love it.
A much more logical choice than that time a few years ago in the EPL where Man City brought on David James up top and was absolutely rubbish for about 10 minutes up top. Shelley Cook, as you mentioned, did used to play there back in the day and still there on the futsal field.
She can belt a football.
Yep, powerful strike. Very powerful strike, and here she's nearly stealing in behind the defence there.
The mere presence has already brought a threat. But no, that is
so all about this.
We called for something different. Well, you can't get much more different than deploying the goalkeeper as an auxiliary centre forward. And haven't seen this move deployed too often, but look, I can assure you, Shelley Cook, she's a tremendous strike on goal. So Chris Hay has pulled the joker out of the pack here, laid it down. His team needs 2 goals. They've got 15 minutes left. They have a corner. It's Burt. It's clawed away by Farrow and Bonnie Davies. There's the area. Here's Bronte get on. Takes a while to bring it under a spell and knocked it wide for Burt. Johnson competing with Kanagiza. Has Lazinski in support. So composed as ever. Maddie Chambers storming off down the left is Maddie Chambers. Feeds it to Bonnie Davies, who had just strayed offside. 15 to play, 1-0 the lead.
Sensible work there from the Zebras defensive line. Dixon knew Davies was in front, which is hoping the defender, her teammate on the blind side, was doing the same, and that one has relieved the pressure on the Zebras as Nichols dropping deep to pick up the ball. Berry trying to flick it onto Kanagiza. Berry and Black battling away. It'll be handball against Ali Berry. Black Warriors now looking to go a bit more direct with their play than they were in the first half. Kanagiza looking that one on. Lazinski taking a time to pick out a pass. In the end does so to Chambers. Good to see the Zebras starting to throw the kitchen sink at the Warriors as Dixon uses her body well. First touch for new keeper Alyssa Bowden. Davies looking out wide towards Gubb. Turning inside towards Michael. Up against Nichols. Michael trying to play a lovely through ball towards Chambers, but Bowden will get there just in time. 14 minutes left. Zebras realistically needing 2 goals here, and throwouts like that aren't quite going to do it as Michael now spots the keeper off a line and decides to hit it over the top. Not too far away, but as soon as she won the ball there, Annie Michael got her head up and really only had one thing on her mind.
Yeah, you got the backup keeper in. You might as well. Bowden converting to keepers, primarily been a central midfielder in her time in Tasmanian football. And, why not test her out? I'm sure she'll be good distribution-wise with her feet, but might be a little uncertain, I'd have thought, for the long-range shots from someone who can hit them as well as Annie Michael. But that's the risk versus the reward of Cook up top. Here's Bomford, also capable from range. Being shadowed by Ali Berry, but just skipping around nicely, but eventually just worked herself into a bit too much trouble. Tried to do a bit too much there, Bomford. And Cook able to quite run onto this one. Lazinski dealing with that. Jenna Farrow clears the area. Only so far as Ali Berry. They find a spark here. Sharp turn that by Marmion. Couldn't find Cook though. Broken up by Black. Towed forward. Out for a throw in. Ticking towards the end of this one. It's the Warriors looking to make it the third 1-0 win from these sides in their matchups. The first one went the way of Clarence Zebras. The second to the Warriors, and the third, perhaps ultimately the decisive one, heading the same way. Here's Zara Dixon in the force issue. That's a wonderful ball from Zixon. Finds Kanagiza. Kanagiza crosses in. Clearance finds its way to Michael. Closed down by Gazon. Bomford finds Davies. Got one back by Burt. Nichols dropping very deep to try and get involved here. Looks up and just sees a wall of blue in front of her. So shifts it out to Kanagiza. Is Cook awaiting this in the middle? Away from her though. Roberts getting back. Burt. Stretching was Marmion. But the blue wall has just been erected here at Warrior Park, and it's going to be very tough to breach. Gill. Burt. Burt. Now Berry. Immediately swarmed. Burt deflected. Cook looking to hustle and bustle her way through with Nichols. It might fall for Cook. Taken away from her though. Marmion tries to win it back. It's the cross. Just running out of room and running out of time.
Certainly are, and the Warriors have certainly gone as defensive as possible as Bomford has done the backwood nutmeg there on Nichols. I don't think she knew a great deal about it.
Yeah, well, she lost the ball, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it counts for a whole lot when you give the ball back to the opposition. But yeah, it was the backwards nuts.
I didn't even notice it.
Good pick up for our producer Ash there.
As Burt picking the ball up. It's only really Bonnie Davies the Warriors are keeping forward. They are putting everyone back as Dixon looks up. Can't quite get it towards Nichols. And they're playing the highest high lines in return are the Zebras. Bomford still going up against Burt. Looking to get it towards Davies, but that one will fall to Bowden, who will do well to get plenty of distance on this one, but in the end goes to Dixon. 10 minutes left. Dixon. That one didn't take a touch off Chambers. We need to get the ball forward a little bit more, particularly if they're going to go with the kind of chaos theory of having Shelley Cook up top.
They've feed it to her. They've not given Cook the service yet. Give her a chance to make something happen. The Warriors very comfortable in defence for the time being. Maybe a little uneasy if Clarence could pull one back though. Inject something into this contest. They still need 2 goals, you'd imagine. A draw, perfectly fine result for the Warriors. Maintain that buffer at the top. 5 points. Obviously the game in hand, cut it back to 2, but they'd be relying on a major upset somewhere. They need to find 2 goals if they want their fate to remain in their own hands here. But it's not looking particularly likely. Innocent Michael sends this one along off the back of Rachel Gill, rather inadvertent there, and so brought down Davies, and play just allowed to continue. So Gill first to get up, goes over the ball and drives them forward. Here's Ali Berry now. She swings it forward, looking for Kanagiza. Oh, well done, Farrow. Judged it well and just got there first.
Kanagiza there with a big smirk on her face there. She knew she was close to getting that one, and Farrow had to be aware and off her line quickly. As the Warriors continuing to hold on here as Gubb going back to Roberts. Zebras now. Once he get on. I think that was a loose touch, and the ball played forward for Davies. Coming across is O'Brien, who's missed it. It's Bonnie Davies charging into the box. Has Bomford there with her, but coming back well. Here's Georgia Bird saving the day for the Zebras. Now Kanagiza does well to win a throw-in off Chambers. It's still not in their attacking half for the Zebras, needing 2 goals. Just the wildcard sub has not quite had a chance to come off yet, the Zebras. And there's Nichols, who's dropping deeper to pick the ball up. Ball looking for Cook, who gets a touch on it. Getting it forward towards Berry. Now he's going to chase down Lazinski. Cook getting it through the legs of Johnson. Benny Michael coming back. Chambers. Plenty of time in the centre of the park, but well blocked by Nichols. Forward to Cook. Wants to play the return ball to Berry. Will she get there, Ali Berry? Oh, she does, but leaves it behind, and Farrow gratefully claims the ball.
Just class that one and breathes a sigh of relief. Yeah, ticking towards completion. It's almost mission complete for the Warriors. The redemption after last year's disappointment. Been a few players still burning over that one. Such a good opportunity they're left behind, and I think they're determined not to repeat those mistakes here today. They've defended fantastically. Cook flicked on. Can Kanagiza make something happen? There's just blue bodies in the way, as there has been all afternoon. They're looking a little out of legs here too, and Chambers has just knocked that out of play. Someone down on the ground perhaps, or from Clarence Zebras. I'm not sure I'm giving them the ball back here.
No, it does seem to be held up here.
So,
A lot of communication going out on the pitch either.
okay, across. There we go. So it will be a sub.
I think Davies getting a drink now. It's a player down for the Zebras, I think, in Bronte get on.
It's interesting. Chambers kicking the ball out for the Clarence Zebras player. Will they give it back? This will be interesting given the circumstances. And they won't. To Bird, swinging it forward. Chipped over the top from Nichols. Will Cook run onto it? Oh, she got the shot away, but denied by Farrow. Made good contact, but Jenna Farrow, arguably the best keeper in the competition, kept her cool. Makes the save.
The absolute scenes that would have erupted if that nestled in the back of the net. The keeper going up top. Good connection, was on target, but Farrow standing tall as Kennegee's pass intercepted by the Warriors. Now Bomford, Davies making a good run. Dixon forcing her wide and ending up with the ball. O'Brien is going to claim that one rather than Bowden. Forward towards Nichols. Get on. Looks up as 4 ahead of her, one of whom is Cook. So she's a little heavy. It's Roberts. Gets back. Berry going to press on Farrow. Oh, does well there. Does Berry, but it's going to be corner kick, I think. Yes, it is. So Berry's press working a treat. But still only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, they're going to need something here late. A double strike. The dying embers as we have a look at this Shelley Cook chance. It was a bit chaos, just pinballing around. Nichols clever, that little ball over the top. She caught it well from outside the box, but good keeping from Farrow. Burt sends the corner in, just stands up on the wind a little. Kennegee's are in there. Ollie Davies able to steer it away. Only Maddie O'Brien back, and she just launches it forward. And it's wide of the mark. And they've not got long left now. The Clarence Zebras, Olympia on the precipice of the Super League title. They've had a fantastic season. Just the one hiccup in that 1-0 loss to the Clarence Zebras. And a game they frankly dominated for 89 minutes off the 90. Slipped up and just couldn't take their chances that day. About the only day this year Bonnie Davies hasn't taken a chance. She's been amazing this season with 21 goals. Perhaps the most decisive of strikes today. She's out after this one, leading Gill to the ball. Just to go past her. Well done by Gill though, and O'Brien. There's another panic clearance. Didn't need to do that. It'll allow Olympia to eat more time off the clock, time that they simply do not have.
There was no one else up there for the Warriors. Once Davies didn't have that ball in her grasp, had time to turn out, take a touch, even playing the keeper who was possibly at a better angle to clear it. There's now Nichols on the counter. Still going is Nichols. Cook and Berry up ahead. Nichols drops it short to Berry. Kennegee's are running onto it. So is Michael, who gets there first and wins the ball. Does any Michael. Covers plenty of ground. Does Michael. Chambers getting past one. Forward towards Davies. Intercepted by Gill. Will take nothing short of a miracle for Zebras to get the 2 goals they really need in this one, as Chambers now going forward. Dixon clearing, but only as far as Michael gets a head up. Straight to the opposition, and Nichols tries to turn and play the ball forward. Through ball looking for Marmion. Dixon again with time to take the ball forward. Plenty of blue outnumbering as this one will fall towards Shelley Cook. Off the chest Cook, and Farrow forced to clear. Another half chance for Cook in the 18-yard box.
She's made things happen. It's a pretty good ball, just a slightly heavy touch though from Cook on this occasion. Farrow able to clear. A wild card move has nearly paid dividends, but unfortunately, for her side's sake, just not been able to supply her enough. It's a nice little skill move from Maddie Chambers, the reigning league best and fairest. Ali Berry, who finished runner-up last season. Interesting count this year. Imagine Montford and Davies, probably 2 of the front runners in this Olympia team. Innocent Michaels had a fantastic year as well. Berry swinging this one into the mixer. Chaos reigning here. Bodies everywhere. Farrow came out. Complete the catch on it. Dixon might just send it right back in. She does just that, but overhits it. And as we tick towards the 90, you get the sense that the Warriors are just about home here, Paul.
Yeah, you certainly do, as Farrow came out to collect that one and just missed it. It's come straight off the Zebras player, and Farrow's taken out a teammate as well. Absolute chaos. In the end, it was Davies, the lone goal scorer, clearing that one. Really, time has just about run out here for the Clarence Zebras as ball down the line. Can't find anyone. Cleared again comfortably by the Warriors. Take comeback of epic proportions here for the Zebras to come away with the result they need. Is Gaddon. Passes intercepted against Canageza. Throw taken quickly. O'Brien wants to get it in the mix-up. But turn and shot there from Berry. It was a tired-looking shot in the end, and as we tick into stoppage time, I think the Warriors are going to come out victorious. Farrow in no rush to take this.
I think it's just about a job done now. It's been a fantastic defensive display at the back. They've just shut them out. A couple of good saves when required from Farrow, but largely it's been the defence in front of her who've just denied Clarence the chances. Berry should give them some very, very late hope here. Forced wide by Lazinski. Out for a goal kick. I don't think we'll have too much stoppage time. Certainly didn't in the first half. Well, that was probably a little bit warranted, and I don't think there's been a whole lot actually warranted in this second half. So it could just be curtains on the Clarence Zebras' dreams of a debut season Super League title. And Olympia will exercise the demons of 2019, although just getting a little too cute as they try and see the clock out there. But Nichols will hustle after this one. I don't think there's the time left now, though. They've gone 91 and a half minutes. It's 1-0. They need 2 goals. The Warriors are about to open up an 8-point gap, although they're just scrapping their way out here in the final few minutes. Just go long, I reckon. And eventually they do head down the line. There's Zara Dixon. Zara Dixon punches it forward. Nichols lurking, but out was Farrow. She'll stay down, and that might just be that. Final whistle must be imminent. Farrow's just going to eat up as many seconds as she can. They know it's job well done. Is that Maddie Black just telling the referee, just praying for that final whistle to go? Long and strong from Farrow. Not dealt with by O'Brien. Dixon in support, but Chambers hustling away. Gill clears it, and the final whistle rings out. They're not quite there, but they're more than in the box seat. They've got 1.5 hands on the Super League title. The Olympia Warriors with a huge 1-0 victory that sets them 8 points clear on top. Surely that is the title race settled. They've been the best side this year. The only question that remained, could they get it done on a big final day over an opposition who's troubled them? The answer is yes, and fittingly, it was Bonnie Davies who scored the winner.
Yeah, the Golden Boot leader getting the goal in the first half. It was a clinical performance overall from the Olympia FC Warriors. Zebras tried something different, a bit of a different strategy to their previous encounter, which saw them go down 1-0, but it didn't quite work on this occasion, and Davies, once again, just needing not too many chances to get in behind the Zebras' defence, scoring the goal, and then in the second half, they dropped deeper and deeper and used the narrower confines of Warrior Park to their advantage with that goal up. Zebras tried something different. We saw the keeper go up for the last 15 minutes, which is not something we used to see, but that, to me, was the turning point of the game. Farrow's penalty save of Stevenson, the way momentum was there, you thought the Zebras were in with a chance, and 10 minutes later, Bonnie Davies goes up ahead, long ball, takes it first time into the bottom corner, and from there on, it really was all Warriors. And for mine, fully deserved victors here this afternoon.
Yeah, and a fully deserved title if they do finish the job in the coming weeks. You'd have to make them the reddest of red-hot favourites to do it. That's the title race done, I think. But, yeah, the penalty was the big moment. If the Clarence Zebras went 1-0 up, they're the type of team who could have ground out a 1-0 win, just sat back, parked it deep. They did it in their first victory. There was a brilliant save from Shelley Cook, who was at the centre of plenty of action in this one, coming on as the auxiliary striker late, trying to spark them. Drew a good save out of Farrow too, but ultimately, they just didn't have enough about them in an attacking sense, and they haven't in any of the 3 meetings this year, really. Olympia have been the better team all 3 times. They've won 2 of them 1-0. Lost 1-1-0, but those drop points away to Ulverston means it's an 8-point, even with the game in hand, 5-point gap. 3 games left for the Warriors that they'll be pretty short-priced favourites in all 3 of. I think we can pretty safely say the Warriors are going to win the Women's Super League title, barring any late disasters. There was Cook trying to spark it late, but look, did love the wildcard approach, but deploying the keeper as a striker is not quite the same as bringing on Jesse Williams as the Hobart Zebras had last year. Didn't quite have that ace up the sleeve this year, and Olympia are going to win the league. Yeah,
they certainly are. It's going to be very, very happy folks over at Warrior Park here this afternoon. Thank you for joining in to this huge Women's Super League game. And it looks like the Olympia Warriors are on their way to winning the Women's Super League for 2020.